Is Pakistan Standard Time. Assalamu alaikum. This is Radio Pakistan. The news read by Daman Zaman. The headlines. The Prime Minister says agriculture reforms are being introduced under a comprehensive strategy to provide relief to farmers. The National Assembly passed the Finance Bill 2021, having a total outlay of 8,487 billion rupees. The Foreign Minister, expressing concern over the involvement of anti-Pakistan agencies in Lahore blast, has demanded thorough inquiry by anti-terror financing investigating agencies to expose the culprits. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian troops, in their fresh act of state terrorism, martyred one more Kashmiri youth in custody in Srinagar today. In South Africa, former President Jacob Zuma has been awarded a 15-month jail term for contempt of court. In occupied Jerusalem, violence erupted after the demolition of a Palestinian business center by Israeli forces in Al-Bustan area today. And now the news in detail. Prime Minister Imran Khan says agriculture reforms are being introduced under a comprehensive strategy as provision of relief to farmers is amongst the top priorities of the government. He was talking to the Minister for National Food Security and Research, Syed Fakhr Imam, who called on him in Islamabad today. They discussed record production of all crops and a strategy for the upcoming crops. It was decided during the meeting to organize Farmers' Convention in Islamabad on Thursday. The National Assembly today passed the Finance Bill 2021, giving legal effect to the budgetary proposals for the next fiscal year. It was presented by the Finance Minister Shaukat Tareen. The amendments proposed by the opposition in the Finance Bill were rejected by the House. With a total outlay of 8,487 billion rupees, the budget 2021-2022 envisages incentives and measures for various sectors to boost business activities and provide relief to the general public. The federal employees have been granted 10% ad hoc relief besides 10% increase in pensions, and the minimum wages have been enhanced to 20,000 rupees per month. The annual public sector development program has been increased by 40% from 630 billion rupees to 900 billion rupees. 100 billion rupees have been earmarked for the construction of hydropower dams, including Dasu, Diamir Pasha, Mamand and Neelam Jhelum. The growth target of 4.8% has been set for the next fiscal year, with tax collection target of 5,829 billion rupees. Allocation for the SRs program has been enhanced from 210 billion rupees to 260 billion rupees for the next fiscal year. An amount of 682 billion rupees has been earmarked for subsidies, which were 430 billion rupees during the outgoing fiscal year. The budget also envisages allocation of $1.1 billion for procurement of anti-COVID vaccine. The House will now meet tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. The Foreign Minister Shah Mahmood Qureshi has congratulated the law enforcement agencies for exposing the elements involved in destabilizing Pakistan. In a statement today, he said our intelligence agencies, the Punjab Counter-Terrorism Department and the police, after a scientific investigation into the Lahore blast, have arrested the culprits. Expressing concern of the support of anti-Pakistan agencies in carrying out the blast, he said the anti-terror financing investigating agencies should conduct a thorough inquiry to expose the elements involved in providing financial resources for such operations. Shah Mahmood Qureshi said some elements in Afghanistan are also playing the role of spoilers, which want instability in Pakistan. Pakistan and Japan have reiterated their commitment to enhance bilateral ties and mutual cooperation for the promotion of international peace and security. The resolve was expressed at the 8th round of Pakistan-Japan Security Dialogue held today in a virtual mode. The dialogue has two components: politico-military talks and military-to-military talks. The two sides exchange views on security policies and regional as well as global issues. The security situation around Pakistan and Japan was also discussed. Zahid Hafiz Chaudhry briefed the Japanese side on Pakistan's relations with neighboring countries and also highlighted Pakistan's efforts in the fight against terrorism. He also underscored the importance of peaceful resolution of outstanding disputes as per international legitimacy and relevant United Nations Security Council resolutions for durable peace and stability in South Asia. The two sides agreed to further expand defense and security cooperation and understanding. This is Radio Pakistan. 3 million doses of Sinovac will arrive in Pakistan today from China through procurement plan for this month. This was informed during a meeting of the National Command and Operations Centre in Islamabad today, with the National Coordinator, Lieutenant General Hamud-uz-Zaman Khan, in the chair. The forum discussed the rollout plan of utilizing these 3 million doses. The Azad Jammu and Kashmir budget for the next fiscal year, with a total outlay of over 141 billion rupees, was presented in the Legislative Assembly in Muzaffarabad today. Presenting the budget in the Assembly, the AJK Finance Minister Dr. Najib Naqi said 113 billion rupees have been allocated in the budget for non-development expenditure, while 28 billion rupees for development. The development budget shows an increase of 14% as compared to the outgoing fiscal year. Chairman Kashmir Committee Shahryar Khan Afridi has appreciated the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres' call for ending torture on Kashmiri children by India in the illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir. In a tweet, he said the United Nations Secretary General has called on India to end violence on Kashmiri children, including halting the use of pellets. In the Indian illegally occupied Jammu and Kashmir, the Indian troops in their fresh act of state terrorism martyred one more Kashmiri youth in custody in Srinagar today, raising the toll to 2 in the past 24 hours. According to Kashmir Media Service, the youth was martyred by the troops after he was taken into custody during a so-called cordon and search operation in Parimpura area of the city. The troops also destroyed a residential house. The other youth was martyred by the troops after arresting him in the same area yesterday. The martyrdom of the youth triggered shutdown in his native Narbal area of Badgam. All business establishments remained shut while vehicular movement was thin. The Indian troops and paramilitary personnel were deployed in strength to prevent pro-freedom and anti-India protests. India has waged a hybrid war against Pakistan and Kashmiris' movement for their inalienable right to self-determination. An analytical report released by the Kashmir Media Service today said Jammu Indian Air Force Base like false flag operations are part of this hybrid warfare. It said the sole objective of the Indian hybrid warfare is to destabilize Pakistan, as it mainly revolves around defamation of Pakistan globally. Meanwhile, the Indian police have booked Twitter India managing director for showing Jammu and Kashmir, including Ladakh, as a separate entity on its website. Earlier, an American microblogging giant also showed the same map. In South Africa, the Constitutional Court has handed the country's former president Jacob Zuma a 15-month jail term for contempt of court after he refused to appear before the graft investigators. In occupied Jerusalem, violence erupted today after the demolition of a Palestinian business center by the Israeli forces in the Al-Bustan area neighborhood of Silwan. According to the Palestine Red Crescent, at least 4 Palestinians were injured in the Israeli aggression. The Israeli army used tear gas and batons to push back residents and Palestinian activists. And finally, the weather. Very hot and dry weather is likely to prevail over most central and southern parts of the country during the next 12 hours. However, rain thunderstorm is expected at isolated places in Upper Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and Gilgit-Baltistan. And that is the end of this news bulletin. For more news and analyses, log on to our website radio.gov.pk, and you can also watch the live video streaming of our bulletins on the link facebook.com/Radio Pakistan News Official.